the selection of the words or the stem of that particular sentence. In case if it's inaccurate, you need to replace that with an accurate one. Let me show you an example here. So what you see on your screen right now is a question. So let's have the question on the screen, please. So if you look at the question, you have one particular part of the sentence which is underlined red font. Okay, the workers are hell-bent at getting what is due to them. So what you need to do is you need to replace the underlined stem or underlined part of the sentence with one of the options. Now, pay attention to this. It could be quite possible that the entire sentence is accurate. It does not mean that the entire sentence is wrong. It could be accurate as well. In case if it's accurate, you will select option D, which is no improvement. All right. So this is an example for you. So when you look at the question, you need to read it a couple of times and also look at the stem where it's underlined and see if any of the options is fitting in properly. If it's not fitting in, that means it's an accurate sentence. Okay. So the answer to this particular question stem which you had on your screen is option C. The workers are hell-bent upon getting what is due to them. Now, hell-bent at or hell-bent upon, these are prepositions, upon and at. So upon is the correct form in this particular question. All right. So this was an example. Let's look at the first question which you need to solve. If the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. If the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. Option A, if the room was brighter. Option B, if the room are brighter. Had the room been brighter, no improvement needed. So please read it again, understand what it means. In case if you find something wrong, please find the appropriate option which fits in. Okay, so let's look at option A. If the room was brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. Option B, if the room are brighter. Now, option B is not accurate at all. You can't say if the room are brighter because it's a singular form room and are is a plural form, which means B is ruled out. It's not an accurate answer. Had the room been brighter. Now, in this situation, it is a condition. Now, if the room was brighter, of course, he could have read a little more, or I could have read a little more before bedtime. Now, the correct answer is option C. Had the room been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. Okay. Next, the poor villagers have waited in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. The poor villagers have waited in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. Look at the option, have been waiting, had waited, has been waiting, no improvement. Okay, now let me give you some examples of why one particular answer is correct. Let me rearrange this so that I can type it more. So the other day we spoke about subject verb agreement. If you remember, we spoke about this subject verb agreement. What does subject verb agreement say? If the subject is singular, use S at the end of the verb. Let me rearrange this so that you can see this clearly. Okay. This is what we learnt. If the subject is singular, use S at the end of the verb. If the subject is plural, drop the S at the end of the verb, which means he plays, she plays, they play. Correct? So he is singular, so I use an S. She is singular, I use an S. But they is plural, I will drop the S. Now in this particular question, let's take a look at it. It says the poor villagers have waited. So is have the correct form? What is the subject here? Villagers. Poor is an adjective. Okay. Now villagers is a plural form. If I have a plural form, I will drop the S, which means have is correct. I cannot use any option which has, which means C is ruled out. Now let's think about A, B and C. It says have waited. Waited means past tense. In the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. Now is present tense, and they have waited for 4 hours means it is still going on, which means have been waiting is the correct answer. The poor villagers have been waiting in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. Okay. Next, the old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly no effort at all. The old man felled some trees means cutting trees from the bottom of the stem. The old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly no effort at all. Options: with hard effort at all, with hardly any effort at all, with a hardly any effort at all, no improvement. Please read, make a note of it, and then find the answer. Okay, now alright, now I need to explain the word hardly here and how it works. Okay, now let me write a sentence. If I say he hardly works, it actually means he doesn't work at all. That is what it means. If I say he works hard, that means he is hardworking. There is a difference between hardworking and hardly working. Hardworking means a person who puts in a lot of effort. Hardly means nothing at all. In this case, it says the old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly no effort. Hardly means not much anyways. So this no is redundant. It has no role here. It's of no value. It doesn't have any function. That's why the correct answer is hardly any effort, means no effort at all. Next, the company goes to great length to ensure that employees can be comfortable in their work environment. It's not environment, it's environment. The company goes to great length to ensure that the employees can be comfortable in their work environment. Options: employees are comfortable, employees will be comfortable, employees should be comfortable, no improvement needed. Okay, now let's read the question again. The company goes to great lengths to ensure that employees can be comfortable, or it should be are comfortable, or will be comfortable and should be comfortable. The company goes to great length means it's a policy, they always do it. Hence, it's are comfortable. The company goes to great length to ensure that employees are comfortable in the work environment. Next question. I want you to clearly understand that excuses won't do. I want you to clearly understand that excuses won't do means excuses won't work or won't be acceptable. Options. I want you clearly to understand. I want you to understand clearly. I want to clearly understand you. Of course, that's grammatically incorrect, or no improvement needed. Now, I am going to tell you the correct answer, and that is no improvement, because if you look at the sentence, you have an adverb here, clearly understand. Okay, so adverb is before verb. I want you to clearly understand means you are emphasizing on the understanding level or the level of understanding. So that's why adverb is before verb, and this is accurate. All right. Let's look at the next one. He was fined for careless driving. He was fined for careless driving. Options. He got fined, he fined, he was to be fined, no improvement. Okay. No improvement because he was fined. You can't say he got fined or he fined. If you say he fined means he fined somebody else. The reason why he wrote the letter was because he could not contact him over the phone. The reason why he wrote the letter was because he could not contact him over the phone. Options. The reason why he wrote the letter was since he could not contact him over the phone. Option 2 or B. The reason for which he wrote the letter because, option C, the reason why he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone. Please read it, write it, understand it, and then respond. All right. So option C is correct because grammatically that is the accurate one. The reason why he wrote the letter was since, that since is not needed in option A. The reason for which he wrote the letter, now reason itself means it's for, so you don't need that. That's why option C is correct. The reason why he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone. As he passed his teens now, he can look for himself. As he is past his teens now, that means he is above the age of 19. 13 to 19 is teenage. As he is past his teens now, he can look for himself. Look for means to search. Look after means to take care. It basically means as he is grown up, he can take care of himself. So after is the correct answer. Okay? As he is past his teens now, he can look after himself, means he can take care of himself. There is no more room for you in this compartment. There is no more room for you in this compartment. Options. There is no more seat, there is no more space, there is no more accommodation. Look at the key word here, which is compartment, okay, and then look for the correct answer. The correct answer is there is no more space. Now, compartment is a very big space. In that space, we are talking about a smaller aspect. Now, if you're traveling by train, a compartment means a bogie, right? But when you look at compartment as a general context, so you need to use the right form, and that is space. There is no more room for you in this compartment. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Most donors would seriously protest any effort to extrapolate from such limited data. Most donors would seriously protest any effort to extrapolate from such limited data. It means, extrapolate means to derive or extract information from limited data. Options: protest against, protest at, protest to, or no improvement. And the correct answer is protest against. You always protest against something. Alright. Let's move on to the next one. If you had attended the meeting, you would have benefited a great deal. If you had attended the meeting, you would have benefited a great deal. Options: you could benefit a great deal, you would benefit a great deal, you benefited a great deal. Now, benefited means it's already happened, but here it says if you had attended, that means the meeting was not attended. You would have means there is all possibility. Could have means there is some possibility. Would means it would have happened anyways. Could means there was a possibility. So, no improvement needed because it says would have. You would benefit? No, you would have benefited a great deal. That means it did not happen. That's why I'm making that statement. If he would have tried, he would have succeeded. If he would have tried, he would have succeeded. Option: if he is tried, no. If he was tried, no. If he had tried, he would have succeeded. So, read option C if it's fitting in. If it's not, then option D is the correct answer. Option A is not correct because is tried is wrong, was tried is wrong again. So, between option C and D, option C is correct. If he had tried, he would have succeeded. Next, it will be no good trying to find an excuse next time means please do not give excuses next time. It would be no good trying to find an excuse next time. Options: it would be no good to try find, it would be no good to try finding, it would be no good trying finding. Or no improvement needed. And the correct answer is A. It would be no good to try find an excuse next time. Next, please remind me of posting these letters to my relatives. Please remind me of posting these letters to my relatives. Options: please remind me by posting, please remind me to post these letters, please remind me for posting these letters. You always remind someone to do something. So, to is the correct form. Please remind me to post these letters to my relatives. Now, in this case, you need to spot an error. Which part of the sentence has an error? Alright. So, the instruction would be something like this. Read each of the sentence to find out whether there is a grammatical error in it. The error, if any, will be one part of the sentence. The letter of that part is the answer. If there is no error, the answer is D. Okay. Say for example, this entire A, B, C put together is one sentence. One of it is incorrect grammatically. If none of it is incorrect grammatically, you will choose option D. So, let me give an example here. We discussed about the problem so thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. I repeat, we discussed about the problem so thoroughly that on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. I'm going to read it again slow. We discussed about the problem so thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. So when you read this entire sentence, you figure that the first one has a grammatical mistake. Where is it? We discuss about the problem thoroughly, so is not needed. We discuss about the problem thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. Likewise, in case if you find any of the stem A, B or C is incorrect, that will be the selection or option D. Okay, let's move on. An Indian ship laden with merchandise got drowned in the Pacific Ocean. An Indian ship laden with merchandise means loaded with merchandise means products, got drowned in the Pacific Ocean. Please read, you will be able to find out where the error is or if there is no error at all. Okay, C is the stem where there is an error. An Indian ship laden with merchandise drowned in the Pacific Ocean. That's it, got is not needed. If I had known this yesterday, I will have helped him. If I had known this yesterday, I will have helped him. Very easy, you can identify which stem has the error. Of course, option C is where the error is. If you look at the beginning of this sentence, it says if I had known this yesterday. Now, yesterday is past tense. I can't use a future tense on the same sentence, right? So, it should be I would have helped him. That's why C is the answer where there is an error. Next, a lot of travel delay is caused due to inefficiency and lack of good management on behalf of the railways. A lot of travel delay is caused due to inefficiency and lack of good management on behalf of the railways. Please read, you will be able to find which stem has the error. Again option C, because this behalf is not needed. Behalf doesn't make any sense. A lot of travel delays caused due to inefficiency and lack of good management by the railways or of management of the railways. On behalf, no, that doesn't make sense. Next, I have got my MSc degree in 1988. This is an example, I am not talking about myself here. I have got my MSc degree in 1988. It should be I got my MSc degree in 1988. Have is not needed. Having received your letter this morning, we are writing to thank you for the same. Having received your letter this morning, we are writing to thank you for the same. A perfectly written sentence, no error, no mistake, so you will choose option D. All right. Move on to the next one. If you lend him a book, he will lend it to someone else and never you will get it back. If you lend him a book means if you give him a book, he will give it to someone else and never you will get it back. All right. It should be C because the correct form is and you will never get it back. So, never placement is incorrect. Do the roses in your garden smell more sweetly than those in ours? Do the roses in your garden, I repeat, do the roses in your garden smell more sweetly than those in ours? When I'm using more, I don't have to use sweetly, correct? So I'll say, do the roses in your garden smell more sweet than those in ours? Next, block of residential flats are coming up near our house. Block of residential flats are coming up near our house. It should be blocks of. Okay. Now, the subject in this sentence is not residential flat, it is blocks. So, block, in case if it's just one block, you will say a block of residential flats. Now, that is not the case. It says block of, which means it should be blocks of residential flats are coming up near our house. The students were waiting for the arrival of the chief guest. The students were awaiting for the arrival of the chief guest. It should be the students were waiting for the arrival of the chief guest. Okay, next, you will get all the information if you read this booklet carefully. You will get all the information if you read this booklet carefully. No error because it's an accurate sentence. Next, an animal can be just as unhappy in a vast area or in a small one. An animal can be just as unhappy in a vast area or in a small one. It is C because it's not the or. Basically, it's the and factor. It can be as unhappy in a vast and a small one. Next, he is working in a bank in New Delhi for the past several months. He is working in a bank in New Delhi for the past several months. It should be he has been working in a bank in New Delhi for the past several months. So, he has been is the correct form. Next, the scientist must follow his hunches and his data wherever it may lead. The scientist must follow his hunches and his data. Hunches means gut feeling. Wherever it may follow. Sorry, leads. The scientist must follow his hunches and his data wherever it may lead. The correct answer, or the one where the mistake is C, the scientist must follow his hunches and his data wherever it leads to. Next, a large-scale exchange of nuclear weapons will produce unprecedented amounts of radiation that can penetrate into the biological tissue. A large-scale exchange of nuclear weapons will produce unprecedented amounts of radiation that can penetrate into the biological tissue. A large-scale exchange of nuclear weapons will produce unprecedented amounts of radiation that could penetrate into the biological tissue. So, C is the one. Next, 60 miles are a good distance. 60 miles are a good distance. Now, what is 60 miles? It's a good distance. Now, what is the subject here? It's this particular number, but when you look at this as a subject, it will more of a singular form, because 60 miles is a good distance. Now, you will get confused if 60 miles is a subject or distance is a subject. So, here it's distance and 60 miles. When you are combining, we are talking about one particular aspect, the singular form, and it's is. 60 miles is a good distance. They have been very close friends until they quarreled. Quarrel means fought. They have been very close friends until they quarreled. They were very close friends until they quarreled, or they are close friends until they quarreled. Okay, A is the one where there is a mistake. When the dentist came in, my tooth was stopped aching out of fear that I might lose my tooth. When the dentist came in, my tooth was stopped aching. No, it should be my tooth stopped aching. So, B is the one where there is an error. Next, no sooner did I open the door when the train, no sooner did I open the door when the rain, heavy and stormy, rushed in, making us shiver from head to foot. No sooner did I open the door when the rain, heavy and stormy. Now, I cannot say when the rain, heavy and stormy, when the heavy and stormy rain. So, option B is the one where there is the error. Next, if a man diligently seeks to come into the contact with the best that has been thought and said in this world, he will become simple and unselfish. A little longer sentence, little complex, so please read it slowly and understand what it says and find the error. If a man diligently seeks to come into the contact with the best that has been thought and said in this world, he will become simple and unselfish. And the correct answer is A. If a man diligently seeks to come in contact, it's not into the contact. Alright. Here is the last one, simple one. You must remember me to post this letter. You must remember me to post this letter. It should be you must remind me to post this letter. Okay. So, in your assessment for selection, when you see these kind of questions, it's very natural for you to get little nervous and worried and scared, because you will get questions on sentence improvement, you will get questions on fill in the blanks. So, please read the entire question properly and then try to understand if any of the options are fitting in. If you feel the options, none of the options are fitting in, that means the question does not have a problem when it comes to sentence improvement or correction. Okay. So, please practice a lot. Online you will find lot of sample papers. The more you practice, the more accurate and the more confidence you will get. Okay. So, I hope to see you soon again whenever the next session should be tomorrow. So, I'll keep you posted. Whatever questions you have in terms of more clarification or doubts that you want to ask, please post on the comment section of this particular YouTube program and I will take a look and provide you with the answer. Alright. Have a great day ahead. Wish you good luck. Bye-bye.